Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Before we start our show today, we are going to put on some Lead Slingers hand sanitizer. I'm going to apply this to my passenger, Jenifer Stockdale. It's watery, girl. Ooh, there you go. Here's a little for me. Gotta love the Lead Slingers, man. All right.
Oh, does it smell?
Rocking.
Oh yeah,
it does smell.
It actually smells good. It smells better than the stuff we have at school.
All right, so today with me I have Jenifer Stockdale.
Oh, I have to take this off.
All right, good. Oh my God. I was like,
wearing
no
it all
way.
Day.
You can't wear that during the show.
I can't take it.
You can't. All right, Jenifer Stockdale is a producer or filmmaker.
Screenwriter.
You got it all, baby. You got it all. We've been friends for a while. We first met at Toastmasters a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And there was one particular night that I thought was really funny. I brought in these pictures for Table Topics, and it was a picture of somebody running some race in some faraway country, and you're like, oh my God, I've been looking for this picture the whole time. This is my brother. He was running a race in, you know, I don't know, whatever it was, and it was really funny. I absolutely love the way that you just kind of went with that. That was really cool. All right, so we're talking with you today because you are making a film.
I am.
Tell us about this film.
So it is called Red Fever. See that?
Red Fever. We'll put an image on there.
All right. So it is. I don't want to give too many spoilers. Okay. So I'll say it is a young woman who lives in a post-apocalyptic survivors camp.
Which about what? It happens about 3 months from now?
Probably something like that.
By the end of 2020.
Yeah, just before 2020.
It'll be nonfiction.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it'll be nonfiction.
So they're living in this camp, and they live a very simple life. Basically, it looks like Little House on the Prairie. Mm-hmm. And there's zombies. We don't really use the word zombies, but flesh-eating creatures.
What is the phrase that you used when we talked on the phone?
What did I say?
My God.
It's all fun and games.
It's all fun and games until someone eats your brains. Dude, that's awesome.
It's not a comedy, though. So
it's a comedy.
It is not.
It's not a comedy.
It is not a comedy.
Okay.
No. It's a thriller, and so they're living in this encampment behind a fence, which you saw in the back of my truck, 10 feet tall, razor wire on top. It's going to be pretty awesome.
It's not 10 feet tall and bulletproof.
No.
Just a regular chain link fence. You said you're going to put some razor wire on the top, too?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. You're going to take that off the property? Taking off the wire around your house?
Yeah. So they live in this camp. There's the flesh-eating creatures outside of the wall, but actually none of that's true. It's modern times, 2020.
Okay.
And they are being held in this encampment for more nefarious reasons. So, again, don't want to give away any spoilers.
Right.
So, yeah.
That sounds very cool. How did you get into making films? What sparked the interest in this?
So I was in Jaws when I was 4.
Really?
Yeah,
The Jaws?
The Jaws.
So you can put on your resume that you were directed by Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, I was 4. I don't think I listened too much to what he told me to do.
I didn't really care who he was.
Nope, we just went to the beach and got $50 a day to sit on the beach.
Perfect.
So,
I think if I had to go to the beach, that would be the only way I would go.
That would be the only way I'd go
and
now,
$50 in 1977 is
it was,
for a 4-year-old.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I don't know what happened to that money, though. I never saw it.
Well, if you would have invested it, it could probably be about $750 by now.
So actually, the kid who got eaten on the yellow raft, Alex, he's done quite well for himself.
Really?
He owns a restaurant in Edgartown, which I know was a lot of money.
Oh my God, sure.
Restaurant in Edgartown was not cheap to buy.
Yeah, you grew up on Martha's Vineyard, right?
I did.
On the Vin.
Yeah. Which is why I don't go back there.
I don't see how people live there. Like, everything has to be shipped in.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's crazy. That's nuts.
Like, as a grown-up, I talk to people, and they talk about all the concerts they went to as kids. And I was like, oh, I saw Carly Simon. It wasn't all that great.
Right, it's not Bob
James
Seger,
Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't go.
Right.
I didn't get to go to Ozzy and all the stuff.
All the cool stuff.
Everyone else I know went to.
Oh my gosh. All right, so you're in Jaws. How does this get you into filmmaking? Like, being in Jaws at 4 years old is not...
I don't know. I just... When I was a little bit older, so being on Martha's Vineyard, like, y'all probably had video cameras here, but I don't think we had them yet. I think they're just getting over there now.
Oh my gosh.
So I never, like, had a camera in the 80s.
Okay.
Do you remember that show with the kid? And he, like, had the video camera, and he's, like, videotaping everything that was going on. That probably would have been me if I had one, but I didn't.
Right.
So I used to write plays, and I used to make the neighborhood kids come into my basement, and I would, like, have them do, put on plays. And they were all variations of the play Annie.
Okay.
So it would be like one of the other characters, it would be like their story from before, or their story after Annie. So
that's pretty cool. And how old were you? 8, 10?
Yeah.
Very cool.
And I'd actually forgotten about it, but I had put something up about making a movie, and one of my Facebook friends from childhood was like, remember, you used to make me come in your basement and make these movies. And I'm like, oh my God, could you please clarify? I remember. I'm like, can you please clarify what you mean by that? Because that sounds a little strange.
It sounds good. It doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
It does not sound good.
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So then, I don't know. I just, I didn't have the equipment, and then even when I moved off island, I went to college. I was in a class. It was an acting class, and they were having a film, like a film, not a film festival, like an arts festival weekend. Okay. So my professor approached me and asked me, I had written a play, and she asked me if we wanted to produce it and put it on stage. So
that's cool.
So we did the play, and so when the set was done, I like stood on the set, and I'm like, I am God of this world. It was just the coolest feeling.
That is awesome.
I created these people.
This. These are my people.
Exactly.
They do what I tell them to do.
And they say what I tell them to say.
Oh my gosh.
So, then I would say I got pretty serious about screenwriting. Because that was the thing. You write a screenplay and you sell it to somebody else and they make it. Gotcha. And I would say back in the 90s, I went out to California 3 times to Pitch Fest to go try to sell my screenplays. At that point, it was, and I didn't know this, Hollywood was like anti-women. Really? Like, women were not directors, women were not screenwriters. Now it's like women are the big thing in Hollywood. Okay, cool. So I'm taking all these screenwriting courses online. I'll put a little plug in for for my screenwriting. It's called Screenwriting U. I take a lot of classes through there. So I started writing screenplays.
Right.
And I made a friend. We do a lot of exchanging of our scripts in the classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up making friends with this woman, and we actually wrote a script together. We wrote a TV pilot. And she told me about this thing called the 48-Hour Film Festival. Mm-hmm. And I'd never heard of it before. Oh, I gotta tell you this first.
All right.
So, in Worcester, when it was like the something anniversary of the Worcester Coalition for, I don't know, the river okay. Coalition thing.
All right.
So, they had a film festival.
Okay.
So, I made a movie with my kids with, like, literally, like a camcorder cheap thing, and oh my god, it was so silly. It was the kids were all dressed like mermaids, and one of the kids had a terrarium, and what the terrarium was Earth, and it was like these things in space that were mermaids, and their Earth was their pet.
Oh my gosh.
And he was getting interviewed on a talk show. Yeah. And he was talking about how the greatest accomplishment on Earth was this river that went through Worcester or something. God. It was silly.
And that's what you did. That's
what
awesome.
we did. We had a blue tarp behind it as like a green screen. Right. And my son was like 14 years old. He edited it. And he put like fish going by, but because the screen was like, the wind was blowing, so you could hear it the whole time. It was like, whoosh, whoosh,
oh my gosh.
And because it was moving, like every once in a while, like the fish would go across the kid's face or whatever. So that didn't work very well.
But you didn't win the festival?
We did.
You did?
We got first place.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
There was 2 films.
There were 2 films?
There were 2 films. And we both got first place.
Oh my gosh.
They said, we're going to give 2 first place.
There you are. You're an award-winning filmmaker.
There you go. So, and then I didn't do anything for years, but I was screenwriting. I was just actually trying to sell them, but I did not make good enough friends with Steven Spielberg. Yeah. Back then in the 70s, so right, it's been a tough
time since then. Gotcha.
I should have gone up to him and
said, hey, help a sister out.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. So have you done more of these 48-hour film festivals?
So yes. So this person told me about it. It's been going on since 20. Hold on. It's 2020, right?
It's just 2020.
And it's been going on. So it's probably been going on since 2000. Okay. Or 1999.
Gotcha. For about 20 years.
So everything for me, like 20 years ago is 1980.
Right.
I can't.
20 years ago was really, or in 1980 was 40
I know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she told me about this and I'm like, oh my god, I could have been making movies all these years. Yeah. So instead of just making 1 movie a year like most people do, I made like 4. A year for like 3 years.
So how does this work? Like, I know catch up. I did one of these with you a couple summers ago.
Yes, you did.
And so it was right. I've acted up and I've acted out, but I've never acted in a movie. So this was the first time.
Yep. And you were awesome.
Acted like a fool, acted like a buffoon, but then I got to act in a movie. And so you get like Friday night. You have Friday night to Saturday night?
Friday night to Sunday night. So Friday night, they tell you what your genre is. They give you a prop, a line of dialogue, and they give you the character. So the character's name and either a character trait or their occupation. And they do that to make sure that you're not like submitting a film that you already made.
Gotcha.
So now you got to take Friday night, you write the movie. Film it Saturday, edit it Sunday, put it in Sunday night.
Were you up the whole time?
So, oh yeah, I stayed up the whole time.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
I have to like manage everything, so.
Yeah, that was nuts. And you've done this how many times?
So I think we've done probably 12 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's like no money. It's all for fun. All for love.
All money out. All money going out. No money coming in. Definitely. So.
That is too funny. Yeah. That is too cool.
So. Yeah.
So when I did this with you, you encouraged me to, oh my God, to sign up for something. Marky Mark was making a movie someplace. He was making a movie in Boston. You encouraged me to go do this, right?
Yeah.
I spent $200 to join this film casting thing, and I never fit the demographic for anything that they wanted, except one time. And I was cast in Defending Jacob.
Okay.
Which had Captain America? I don't know, Chris Evans, I think was his name. I don't know. And I had a buddy of mine called me up. He's like, "Hey, I'm doing this." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm doing this too." He's like, "Oh, let's hang out. We'll ride together."
Nice.
And that was it. All I wanted to do, I'm like, I just want to make my $200 back. That's it.
Yep.
I want to make sure I break even. So that was my acting career.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you always have a part in one of our movies.
Yes, you mentioned this a couple of times, but I'm kind of busy keeping up with stuff.
Yeah, you kind of got famous after you did my movie. And
I know, right?
That was it.
Yeah, everybody's like, yeah, we knew him then. We knew him before. I'm like, there's still, it's not the glamorous life that I thought it would be.
Couldn't get you to come back and do anymore. So.
Oh, man. All right, so you've done a bunch of these. You had 48 hours to make the movie. You got to come up with everything.
Yep.
You're sucking down Red Bulls to stay awake.
Yep.
Where are you casting this next movie? Like, where are you filming it at?
All right, so this movie is actually now, so I like to say I kind of have outgrown the 48s. So I'm actually now venturing into making a real movie.
Very cool.
So this is it's still a short movie because I'll tell you, it's COVID wise, and probably because of COVID, it's about 20 grand to make like a 20-minute movie.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy money. I have to get every actor, every crew member has to get tested and test negative for COVID before they can come on the set, and it's like $6 grand for me to get everybody tested.
What?
So yeah, and as I can't send people to like free places, I have to get them tested. So, but anyway.
So a quarter of your budget is to make sure everyone's tested.
Yeah. Oh, and then not only that, because of COVID, I have to have what's called a health safety supervisor on set that's making sure that everybody's using hand sanitizer and making sure that they're socially distancing, keeping their masks on when they're not actually on camera. You know, all the...
And you have to... I'm going to vent here. You have to pay this person to make sure that you're wearing masks and staying apart from each other?
Yes.
Who created that job? That could be the only job the government's created.
Screen Actors Guild. So government or guilds, yeah, definitely. So then she has somebody under her, and she has to be a
She's
nurse.
under her, but she's got to be 6 feet away.
She's under her, but 6 feet away. Yep.
Oh my God.
And then we have to have security, and I couldn't say hire my son and give him like $10 and some lunch. I have to hire a real security company to make sure that everybody stays in their zones. There's certain zones that people can't go into. So, and then I had to hire a cleaning company, and again, couldn't hire.
Right, have
some kid off the street.
Right.
I have to hire a real cleaning company.
So this is how. So this is where all the money goes.
This is where, most of the money goes. Definitely. Man. Yep.
What ridiculousness. So
the idea for doing this, like I said, outgrowing the 48s, wanting to go on do a real movie, because the 48 it's crazy. You know.
It's a zoo.
It is.
It's a complete zoo.
And this is going to be only a partial zoo because we have to get it done in 2 days instead of 1 day. And the reason why is because if you go a third day, the Screen Actors Guild requires you to test everybody again.
Oh my God.
So it would be another $6 grand to get everybody tested. And we wouldn't even get the results until we were done filming.
Right.
So it's absolutely
useless.
ridiculous. So
Useless.
we're gonna bang it out in 2 days, but we should be able to.
That's good. And then you have more time to edit.
And then we edit. You know, there's no time frame. There's no time frame. So it's it's my own time frame at that point.
Right.
So the idea is to use it as what my friend Laura calls, I love it, a visual query letter. And I'm gonna take the so when I send the script out to a producer, my feature length script, because this is I took a feature length and I made a short out of it. I just did a few integral scenes and whatnot. And so I will send the producers the link to see the short movie. And then they'll be like, oh, that's a great movie. I want to buy that.
Right, and then you go back and do it some more? Do you make it longer?
No, then I sell it to somebody and they give me a bunch of money and they make it. Right? So I'm using it to sell the feature length.
Oh my God. But this is what I've noticed with a lot of things. Everything seems to be a gamble. There's a lot of risk. Yeah. Either it really works or it doesn't work. And it's going to be really good, or it's just going to be like a thorn in your side and cost you money and be a lot of work and time and a labor of love.
But it's fun too. You know what I mean? I love it.
I hear you.
And I'm also right now in a class at Screenwriting U. I think I'm paying for his second kid to go to college now. I already paid for the first one. So I'm writing it into a TV show as well.
Oh, cool.
So now I think you started to ask me before where it's being filmed.
Yeah.
So because it is supposed to be a contained small community, we're filming at Old Sturbridge Village.
Very cool.
Which I don't know if people know about Old Sturbridge Village.
This is what I know about Old Sturbridge Village. I was a number of years ago when I was married. I was riding in the car with my first ex-wife, my kids, and my then mother-in-law. And she sees a sign for OSV, as we all call it in town. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Old Sturbridge Village! I haven't been there since." I said, "Since it was Sturbridge Village."
And hence the ex-wife.
Well, this is why we're not married. This is not why we're not married, but it's just a bonus, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, Old Sturbridge Village has been around since it was Sturbridge Village.
1700s, 1800s,
something like this. Yeah. Something like this. So tell us what Old Sturbridge Village is, and we're gonna go by there and get a picture in front of it. So it is a living museum. So you can go and you can see how people lived during, I don't know, I probably should have looked that up before. Yeah, I think it's 1700s. I think it's the late 1700s.
I probably should have looked that up.
1800s? Maybe. I don't know.
Doesn't matter. It was all the same. They wore long dresses and made their own butter.
Lived on a farm. Right. Churned their own butter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. 1700s, 1800s.
Right.
So
they've been doing that for a long time.
Sawmills and...
It is kind of a cool place.
It is a cool place.
It is.
And I guess they get a lot of movies made there. A lot of people make movies there. They did a television pilot a few years ago. Wow. Somebody I knew was doing security at the time, and they did producers from Hollywood actually came on and did a pilot. I don't think the show ever got picked up. But
that's too bad. They have a lot of stuff going on. I know that the stuff that stays in my mind is they honored Ken Burns a few years ago and John Williams a couple years ago. So they have a lot of big name people that come out and do some stuff at Old Sturbridge Village.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, so you're filming this at OSV. Is there how's that going to go? You're going to do it before the winter comes?
So, honestly, I had picked, we wanted to do October 5th. So they film there. They allow people to film on Mondays and Tuesdays because they're not open to the public. So it's a good day to film. Then you don't have people walking around, whatever.
Right.
And the reason why I chose that date is that's peak foliage
Really?
day in Central Mass.
Very cool.
And I was like, you know, you watch movies and I don't really think I've ever seen a show that has the beautiful foliage that we have around here. And it's like, to be able to show that will be totally awesome.
Yeah.
Don't know if we're gonna make it. So the next week is Columbus Day weekend. We can't film then, but the weekend after that is
Got a couple of extra days.
the foliage is gonna be on the back end, but it should still be good. So we're shooting, no pun intended, for the 19th now. So,
Wow, that's cool. It's
yeah.
all right. Are you gonna have to retest the following 2 weeks later?
No, so we're not, because we know what we will have the date that we know we're going to do it on, and people just have to get tested 24 hours before that.
Gotcha.
So if we cancel the 5th, we just don't do it on the 5th. So
Wait, if you cancel the what?
if we cancel it on the 5th,
Yeah.
we just, nobody gets tested.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we
Gotcha,
just,
gotcha.
whenever we set the date, have it set in stone, sign the contract with OSV, then we'll have
That's
people
it.
go and get their testing done then.
Okay, cool. Now, so you're gonna raise $20,000. That's a lot of money. How are you doing
It
that?
is. So we have an Indiegogo,
Very cool.
and so it's basically like a GoFundMe for artists or people who are trying to. They're ridiculous. So they I keep getting emails from them, and they're like, back this project, a 3D bike with we print the bike out and it has no seams on it, just one piece, and they're asking me to send them money. I'm like, dude, if I can send them money,
that means I have money.
I wouldn't need to be doing it. Like, you're targeting the wrong audience.
Right. I did I was in on something that was going through Indiegogo, and I get all the emails from them as well, and I'm like, I really don't want this. I don't. I appreciate that other people are doing stuff, but
Yeah, once you get on their list.
Oh man. And I don't know if I get off the list if I won't get the other emails I need. So right. So I just delete.
Yeah.
So how can people? You're doing this through Indiegogo. How can in the early days of the what do they call these, group funding? In the crowdfunding. That's it.
Yeah.
So in the early days of these, like for some of them, people would raise the money, or they would ask for $20,000, and if they didn't get it, then like how do they? I honestly don't know how they do it now.
Right. So basically, I've already informed my husband, if I don't get it, he needs to find a new place to live because I'm selling my house.
Oh my God.
So
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen one way or the other.
One way or the other, it is gonna happen.
Yeah. Sell my kids off, something. I don't know.
At some point, the kids are old enough; they can handle themselves.
I know. I asked my son. I'm like, "Can you give me $1,000 towards the campaign?" And like, he just lived with me through the whole COVID times, and
he should
didn't
be
pay rent. So I thought,
he's saving money. Saving money.
He's saving a ton of money. So I'm like, you know what? You can contribute $1,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be an executive producer. Get some
There we go. So this is how you get the titles? You go with the executive producer.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We actually, so if people go on and look at our campaign, which is, I think, really fabulous. My friend Laura put it together. And it has what they call perks.
Okay.
So
there's other people that do that sort of stuff too. Like I know I have some friends that do Patreon stuff, and if you donate this much, you get this. If you donate more, something else, you get a little bit more. And yeah.
So
that's cool.
we have. So it's a short story that's going to be published in an anthology coming out in November. So anybody who contributes, I think it's like the second level, gets a free anthology.
Oh, cool.
The ebook. and a higher level, and I don't have them memorized, but the higher level actually gets a signed paperback copy.
Wow.
So
that is cool.
When this is a movie and a TV show, and then you can say, I have a signed copy of the short story that it was based on.
This is where all of it came from.
Exactly. So
that is really cool.
It is very cool.
That is really cool. How do you find people? Like when you said you had people that have the cameras, and I'm like, where do you find these people that do
So
this stuff?
I've actually met a lot of the people, like a lot of my crew, I met through doing the 48.
48 hours, gotcha.
So just like networking with people, and just people I've seen around and whatnot. And I reached out to them and was like, hey, do you want to do this? And they said, yeah, for a whole bunch of money. We did.
So then you find someone else?
But for actors for this, like with the 48s, it's kind of like, no offense, because you're in a movie, we kind of just like take who we can get.
Right. I see. I know how it works. I see how it is. Yeah. You can get out anytime.
But with this one, we put out casting calls, and we actually did auditions. We had more time. Yeah. So did auditioning, and
that's cool.
Picked the people who really kind of stood out and looked. We had like everybody was fabulous, but just kind of like
there can only be one winner.
Who I see in my head. Yeah. And who sort of presents with that character, because I know these characters very well. I've been dealing with these characters since 2018.
Wow, this is kind of a long process.
It is. That's like sort of a big question is this a COVID movie? Is this based on COVID?
Right.
And it's definitely
the zombies weren't infected by the COVID?
No, they were not.
How about the people that lived? Were they infected by the COVID? Or do they have to eat the brains in order to order to stay alive or to not get the COVID? Like, is there something in the gray matter in your brain that
I don't know. You might not want to spread that rumor, because people might start trying that. But there actually is no zombies.
There's no zombies.
There is no zombies.
It's a zombie movie with no zombies?
It's all fake. It's all.
Wait, zombies are fake?
It's fake that these people are living inside of the wall to protect them from zombies. They're there for another reason.
Wow. You can't tell us what that other reason is, can you?
I can give you a little. It's actually all on the Indiegogo. Actually, that's a really big spoiler.
We'll put a link to the Indiegogo for sure.
All right, cool. So they're actually prisoners.
They're prisoners?
They're prisoners, and they are death row executionee. They're death row executionees.
So
I don't quite know how to say that.
They're on death row, waiting to be executed.
No, they got taken off of death row. So instead of getting executed, they got put into this town.
Gotcha. So they had a choice. You could either get executed or go to this town.
Well, they didn't really have a choice. So they injected them with something that made them look like they were dead, so everybody thinks they were dead. And then they put them in this town, and then they use them for something.
For something.
Well, like I said,
that's what you have to watch for.
Totally a spoiler. So.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. This sounds really interesting.
It is very interesting. So a lot of people will try to say to me, "Oh, this sounds like The Village," like M. Night Shyamalan, right?
That's what I was thinking too.
So I say, yeah, it's like The Village, only good. So that's my take on.
It's like The Village, only good. Oh my goodness.
So the other place we're filming, is in Charlton.
Okay.
We are filming at the historical sites. That's where we're doing our interior scenes.
Oh, very cool.
So Old Sturbridge Village has like the inside, and I don't know. I mean, I guess they're, well, I don't know. The Charlton places are historical too. Like they're real also, but they're Old Sturbridge Village. Everything is really dark.
Yeah.
Like when you go in the schoolhouse. I don't know if you. But did you go on field trips there?
No, I'm not from here.
Okay. Well, I went from Martha's Vineyard to there.
I lived in Illinois. We wouldn't come.
That would be even a little longer than a trip from Martha's Vineyard.
Right.
All right.
It's a plane ride or a 2-day bus ride.
So.
But I mean, I have been to OSV, and since it's all 1700s, early 1800s, there's no electricity. There's none.
Right.
Of this.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the benches in the schoolhouse, because a lot of the movie takes place in the schoolhouse. And the benches in OSV, that just the wood, it's like dark, and whatever it's stain they used or whatever.
Yeah.
Horsehair, I don't know, whatever. It's just dark.
Gotcha.
It's dreary,
And that's going to lend well.
It's what?
That's going to lend well to what you're thinking.
It could, but not in the right way. Like not. So we're going to use the number 2 schoolhouse in Charlton, which is gorgeous, and it has huge windows in there. It's bright and it's beautiful, and we had actually filmed there. We sort of had a failed 48, but we did a lot of the schoolhouse scenes because I was doing this as a 48 before.
Gotcha. Cool.
And I had a kind of actor experience where I had an actor storm off and leave in the middle of filming. So,
are you kidding?
Not even the actor, the actor's mother. So,
oh my gosh.
It's stage mama tantrum, and so we didn't get to finish it. But we got really nice footage, and the tree, and I guess that's the thing where I started thinking about doing it in the fall and having the foliage. The windows are huge, and it was absolutely gorgeous, like green outside the windows, and I'm just like,
oh, cool.
Wow, I can imagine if it was red,
right?
Because it kind of even made sort of a greenish tinge to the room, and I feel like with the foliage it'll be kind of a reddish tinge, which
very cool.
Kind of fits the
theme.
whole red fever thing.
Gotcha.
The zombie disease that isn't real.
The Village, but good.
Yeah. Come on, The Village is so ridiculous. Like, so you have people who didn't like what the world was like, so they go live in this village and they live simply, and they don't like the world because somebody's brother got killed, and it's this terrible world outside. So what they do to their children, instead of telling them, yeah, let's stay here, the world is really bad, they make them think that there's a creature outside that's going to tear them apart and eat them.
There's a monster at the end of the book.
Yeah. Yeah, like, how is that better for your kids?
It's not.
Yeah, it's definitely not. Dumb premise. M. Night Shyamalan, and we talk about this all the time in my screenwriting classes, that guy hit the jackpot when he did The Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, absolutely.
And then he was given like a 7 or 8 movie contract after that, and he will even admit that he just wrote crap after that. He's like, yeah, I just wrote B movies. I didn't care.
Oh my gosh.
I had the contracts. I made the money.
I've got the check has already been cashed.
And believe me, that man is still making money off of The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Definitely. So.
Can't make money off the memes from The Sixth Sense, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap things up here. We're gonna go get a picture in front of OSV, and we can actually go get some pictures in Charlton as well. But how can people get your? How can they get in touch with you and donate?
So on the Indiegogo, are you gonna put the card up?
Yeah, I will. Put it up? Absolutely.
So the link. So it's igg.me/ I probably don't need to be saying all this because you're gonna flash it on the screen, right? It's gonna like flash. So
you can look for. You can look for what?
You can look for the.
You can look for Red Fever Film.
Yes.
On Indiegogo. That is what you do. All right, we're gonna go here. Right, it says no parking and no enter. We are. How do we become authorized?
We are closed today.
How do we become authorized? How do we become authorized vehicles? Can you authorize my vehicle?
And there's like security guards here, so.
Right.
I don't know.
All right, so here's what
we might get chased off.
We might get chased off the property, but we're gonna get a couple pictures before that. So make the last plug, and then we're gonna go. We'll go get some pictures.
Okay. So
Red Fever Film.
Red Fever Film.
Indiegogo. Red Fever Film. We're gonna put this on there. Okay, and you need to check this out. Anything is going to help, right? Any sort of donation?
Absolutely. We had a guy give us $1.
$1?
$1. But
does his name still get in the credit?
No.
It's going to cost more to write his name.
$25 is our lowest.
$25 is the lowest.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Which is pretty low. But think about it. If 20,000 people give me $1,
you made it.
I am all set.
Very cool.
So.
Do people get their names on the credit if they donate at different levels?
Yes.
Because we all, I don't know if it was Napoleon Hill or Norman Vincent Peale that said we all love, the greatest sight is seeing our name in print, and the sweetest sound we have is hearing someone else call our name. I mean, unless it's your mother, calling you to come home. But
and calling you by your middle name.
Yeah.
All names.
Totally. All right, well, listen, thank you guys for watching this. We do hope that you put some time and go check out the Red Fever Film on Indiegogo, and please donate to Jen and her movie so she can get this movie made and she can get out to Hollywood and become a big movie producer.
Yeah.
Awesome, Jen.
All right.
Thank you very much. Oh, that's right.
We can't.
Do we have to elbow or something? It's ridiculous.
Hey, I have to not get COVID before. Could you imagine if I get tested positive? And I'm not on the movie set? That would not be good. You can walk around. It's craziness. All right, we will see you guys next time.